found us. More podcast, where we want you to know God more deeply, find lasting freedom, discover your destiny and make an eternal difference. Now,
here we are back in the secret studio, hidden somewhere.
Yeah.
Property of Harbor Light. Coming in today, I literally felt Top and was like coming out of Transylvania. It was like so thick with the fog.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where am I right now?
It's kind of crazy. It's been the whole month.
I told you guys I wrote to the president.
Did you really?
I did. I wrote to the president. I'm like, listen, you got to get this thing taken care of.
Tariff.
Send them a bill. Because I'm missing out on my 12 days of sunlight that we have in northern Michigan.
Absolutely, man.
Well, somebody was posting a picture, I guess, because of the smoke, it's making the sun red.
Like,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Lisa K Lisa K had some fantastic pictures.
Yeah, it's just
It's
so weird.
unbelievable.
It just reminds me of Tatooine videos.
Yeah, right.
That's really personally.
The other day I woke up in the morning and I was like, it smells like an electrical fire in my house.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was the smoke.
Yeah.
Like, it was all that. And I've been like, my dainty singing voice, right? Like,
Yeah.
for real, man.
Yeah.
Headaches and all kinds of scratchy throat and
I've been living on Claritin D, man.
yeah.
Because they just get
That'll do it for
into
the
allergies.
smoke.
Well, it's helping me with not clogging up.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
And because they keep sending out reports about the air quality, and it's like
it's
from
for real.
1 to 10, we're at 8 right now.
Right. It's no good.
Yeah, it's not good to be breathing. And if you have any problems,
Yeah.
like emphysema or whatever those things are,
Yep.
asthma.
I'm going to be coughing today. I promise you. I've never experienced a summer like this.
People have been coughing like crazy. And it's like, what do you do about it? Really? I mean, it's everywhere.
It is.
It's like everywhere. Well, why do you take the time each week to listen to more podcasts? I'm going to tell you why. More stands for maximizing opportunities for right now and eternity. So stop asking why you listen. Just never forget to listen and pass it on. Did you hear the little bonus stuff I put out?
Yeah.
What do you
It's really good. I like it.
It's kind of like a Paul Harvey on the Bible.
Yeah, it's great, man.
Trying to expand. But, my thing is that there's so many like small minor characters had such a major impact, like Ebed, that nobody really ever knows about, or they like scan over so quick and they don't realize how much impact it had on big name Bible characters.
I wondered if you could partner that with the sermon series. Like, I was thinking about it. I thought that would be cool.
Oh, that would be cool.
You could kind of like piggyback on it.
It's like a Paul Harvey sermon series.
Yeah, like, well, or like,
flip side
so we're in Red Sea stuff.
Yeah.
And you do take those like minor characters and kind of like it's the spin-off of the original series,
Because it's funny how they have such major impact on the main Bible characters that you just don't even realize it. I mean, when I was reading about Ebed, it's only 2 chapters.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get ever mentioned again. But he basically saved the prophet Jeremiah, and if he wasn't there,
right.
Jeremiah may have died.
We need Jeremiah, right?
We need Jeremiah. So yeah. So we'll be checking that out. It's going to be posting, I think I'm going to do once a month.
Cool.
Put little bonus features out on our socials.
That's
and
great.
Yeah, it's kind of like I said, it's kind of like a homage to Paul Harvey and what he would do with stories.
Yep, for sure.
Well, this episode is brought to you by Pickle Toothpaste. Again, this episode is...
No, it's not.
It
not.
Is it?
It is not.
It is. There's a Pickle Toothpaste in here? Yeah, it's in here again. I guess we got sponsored again by Pickle Toothpaste, but no, it's not.
You just didn't change.
I didn't take the header out of there. Okay, so this episode actually was sponsored by Reiki Key Finder.
That's it.
That's it.
There you go.
Because your keys didn't grow legs, but they are hiding. With a push of a button, Reiki unleashes a glorious 80 plus decibels of I'm over here from up to 131 feet away. Perfect for wallets, phones, glasses, and yes, pets who like to play hide and seek with your sanity. No apps, no Bluetooth, just victory.
This is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
My daughter got me Tile,
Yeah.
which you put these little things on, important things, and then via your phone or your computer, you can find your stuff. Push a button, it'll just start chiming.
Yeah.
I love it.
Really?
But the batteries go dead after a year.
Yeah.
And then you have to buy new ones. Okay? So if this is
only
Listen, boys,
$14.24.
I would just say, though, we're Reiki.
Yeah.
What are we bringing into our house here? My little
No,
demon finder.
I think
goes
it's
over by
Ray I think it's kind of like play on the words, like Ray key.
See, okay,
Yeah.
key as in, what does
Yeah.
Ray mean though?
Because it's like
Reiki is like hot yoga or something, right?
No, I don't think that's what they're meaning. I think they're talking.
You know what
about,
I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They're talking about because it's got like a little light.
It's
that
my
comes
old
out.
school Pentecostal.
Yeah, no, it's
demonic.
It's actually what they have different colors and stuff. So it's just a noise. So you can listen to the beep and find it wherever it's at.
But you have to keep the button. What happens if you lose the button?
Well, you have a thing that goes in your other keys.
It's embedded in your hand.
Yeah, right.
It's Reiki. No worries. Just put it in your
Don't worry about it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Did you guys hear about the hospital in, I think it was Texas? They're having so many problems with the homeless population, not having information when they come in for emergency services. So they're talking to somebody about implementing a chip. It goes in your hand.
Really?
Yeah, so that you can get, so they can readily get your information.
Or hear me out. We open up state-funded hospitals again.
Yeah, really.
Or
after the whole Traverse City thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to do something.
There, it is. I was talking to friends of mine in the healthcare industry, and it is like go to an emergency room on any night.
Okay.
And most people who are coming in there are folks who just should be like, it's mental health stuff.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Kind of crazy people.
It's bad.
Crazy stuff. Yeah.
It is bad. And a lot of them don't get the help they need. And so they just get worse and worse and worse. And they're just running around. And, if you've got somebody that's gone off.
I kept saying that to Rachel. I was like, why? I don't understand, why you can't just keep someone. She's like, you can't keep someone against their will.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But also, if you know this person will not take their meds.
Right.
Why isn't there a place for them to live? Right.
Right.
Like a state hospital.
We shut all those down.
Pendulum was way the other way, and it was not good. Yeah. And there was some serious craziness, but that doesn't mean you throw the baby out with the bathwater. Right?
And I think Northern Michigan, we're probably at greater risk than downstate, because I've had friends that needed some time to work on some stuff.
Yeah,
there's nothing in Northern Michigan. You have to go down to Grand Rapids or Lansing or.
Right.
Yeah.
And those are voluntary programs.
Right. But what about the guy who doesn't want to go and needs to probably just live there because doesn't have family or whatever, right? That's the part for me.
We've obviously experienced that here at Harbor Light with folks that and the police just look at them and say, okay, well, they don't have a weapon, so then they just turn them out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we did kind of abuse the system back in the 60s and
Absolutely.
70s.
It's not to say it was great.
Yeah, they need to come up with something. But that was private. A lot of that was private. And I think that if it became more of a governmental thing, I think hopefully there might be some oversight.
Sure.
But
there are stories in Traverse City where people would say, old timers in Traverse City would say, when that state hospital closed, we had homeless people. We had homeless people.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, because what are they going to do?
Exactly.
Yeah. So my wife has a relative who was there.
Yeah.
And they just closed the doors and they gave them $15 or $5 or something like that.
Get a bus ticket or
they bought a squirt gun and went and robbed a bank.
Oh,
and then went to jail.
Right.
And there you go.
That's what I'm saying.
Now
Jail's probably not the place for that person.
Right.
That's
you don't want him in jail.
I'm a capitalist through and through, but I do think that's a thing where we go, this is probably good for the society here as a whole to have a place for folks who cannot live in society.
I think people are still having some PSD from when it was available.
Right.
And I think, there's a lot of abuse going on. And so I don't know if they would do that, but there's been a lot of talk lately. I was listening on C-SPAN. They were having a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, maybe we need to start a cabinet or some oversight committee to look into this problem because they're saying the percentage of crime that's happening in the United States out of the 100% that they would look at, around 30% of those are because of mental illness.
I heard some police officer, I think it was in Detroit, it was saying, we should just have a social worker go with us all the time. Because 90% of the stuff they're doing is you need adult foster care, you need some sort of
Well, and the other problem is they don't have enough money to buy their medication if they need it.
Right.
So they're just walking around unmedicated if they need to be. So
you guys know that the Bible says that in the end times that this witchcraft will increase. Well, the word for witchcraft there is pharmakia.
Yeah.
It's drug use and mental illness and demonic influence. That's what that is. And so we're only going to see it continue to rise.
Keep going higher.
As we've opened, we as a society have opened the door for demonic influence via movies, music, drugs, legalized drugs. You know, we've just opened the door for more demonic impact.
Yeah. I remember, it's funny, we were talking about this yesterday with a friend of mine. Shout out Josh Butson. Shout out Josh. Got my haircut from him yesterday. So I was talking to Josh and he was like, do you think that you have ever seen, cause he's all fired up right now and he's got a couple buddies who are Catholic and he's having conversations about, demonized people and demonic stuff and what's the Catholic approach and what's ours and all that stuff. But he's like, do you think that you have seen someone who's demonized? And I had to think about it for a little bit. And I think that now as an early Christian, I probably would have said no, but now the lines are a lot blurrier for me in the sense of like, yeah, I think that someone can suffer from addiction, right? And that is a breeding ground for the enemy to just an open door, exactly like you said, PG, right? So I'd for sure go down that path of like, I bet you I did. I bet you in my time of like doing some pretty intense youth ministry with kids who were not church families. And, there was just kind of latchkey situations and who knew what was going on 23 hours of the day other than when they were with me 1 hour from Wednesday night, So,
well, I mean, I think the movies make it, sensationalized.
Yeah.
I think the devil doesn't have to do much work today.
No.
To get people to follow him.
Absolutely.
There's such strong chains that are so subtle that people don't even realize that it's happening until it's already got control. Sure. And, so there's some real subtle things like alcoholism, porn addiction. I mean, we go through the whole list of things and it's so subtle. And then all of a sudden you are now overwhelmed and you are fighting, you know.
And I think you said it, right? So Hollywood's done this sensationalized thing of like, it's got to look this way for it to be, or you're just a crazy person where it's like, oh man, like, what the scripture tells us the devil's the father of lies, and it doesn't have to be this big, giant, sensationalized thing. It can be, this is just the thing that just drags you in the mud for the rest of your life.
It's mind control.
Yeah.
It's getting your will to bend to his.
It's real stuff, folks. Be on guard.
Be on guard. Yeah. Well, we're going to take a 90 break, come right back, and we're going to do our introductions for those that are sitting around this wonderful, lovely sauna it's actually not too bad.
Yeah, you've got it fixed with the fan.
Got a fan in here, so.
And I couldn't hear the fan in the other podcast.
I couldn't either. Yeah. I think I put enough noise filters on there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Volveré enseguida. Más Podcast es el lugar para escuchar sobre todas las cosas buenas de la Biblia sin todas las calorías.
That spot always makes me want to sit on a beach somewhere and like Acapulco or something.
Yeah.
It's like
the little hula grass shirt stance.
Just kind of sitting around, enjoying summer. Well, before podcasting, he spent 3 months trying to invent scented communion wafers. The test group said the rosemary chicken flavor was haunting, and the garlic bread version caused 3 altar calls. Please welcome Pastor Ted.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Pumpkin spice would be probably one of them, I imagine, yeah.
Well, the guy sitting across from me, Pastor Gary, before entering ministry, he briefly worked as a Christian movie consultant, where his only job was to count how many times someone looked dramatically into the distance. One actor held the gaze, and that record was for 47 seconds. Please welcome Pastor Gary.
Pastor Gary, yeah.
I actually have made a couple of full-length movies.
That's a look. Yeah.
All right, and the man with all the talent and has all of the buttons and knobs memorized and what they do. The only time he was ever wrong was when he thought he made a mistake. Also, he's the only man who can tie his shoes with his feet and never does a push-up. He pushes the earth down.
Oh, yes.
That's for Alex Norton.
Thank you. That's nice. With his feet. I can barely walk some days. I don't know. Hey, did you guys see my new kicks I got?
I do. And I saw them on the screen too.
These are
really good.
That is nice, man.
These are highlighter shoes.
Where are you getting those bright shoes at?
Walmart.
Okay.
They well,
I think I was at Walmart the other day, and I saw your older shoes, and I was
Yeah.
like, those are Pastor Alex's.
I'm liking the whole fact they're coming up with these bright colors.
Yeah.
I bought these, because I always do something weird when Amy's gone, and then I'm like, because then it's easier to deal with it because she's not here to yell at
She
me.
would not approve of bright
Right.
yellow.
No, but
He's not here to talk sense. into-
yeah,
Okay, go
but
ahead.
she told me she liked them, so I'm like, oh,
All right, good.
I got her approval on those. Yeah. We're gonna come back. I don't know. It's just interesting to me on the socials, at least my socials. I've been getting a lot of like church reels, which is fine.
Yeah.
But apparently there is a difference between how people in the Appalachian churches say certain things and describe certain spiritual issues. Not all issues, but describe spiritual things that happen compared to us. So I wanted to look at this list. It's going to be good. We'll be right back after this ID break.
Attention, agents. Intelligence confirms the More podcast has returned for 2025. This is classified information strictly need to know. Prepare for covert conversations, secret revelations, and high-stakes storytelling. Your mission? Stay tuned. Because once this intel goes live, there's no turning back.
So Appalachian churches saying some mysterious things that Northern church people probably would never know. So if you're like sitting in a church and you're an Appalachian church somewhere, we have a missions team in that area right now. Yeah. These are some things that might be said that you are like, what was that about? So this is what this is all about.
Yeah, this is fun.
I'm just going to say this is the only thing I know about the subject.
Yeah.
So people from the South, and I imagine this is a little bit different than the South, but y'all is you're a y'all, and then I learned that all y'all is the plural version of y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's already a y'all, all y'all is the next one, and then I just looked it up, and then Ewans is the grand group.
Yeah.
Okay? Ewans. All right, that's all I know.
So like if you're preaching and you go Ewans.
Yep.
You say Ewans, you're talking to the congregation in a Southern church. They would totally understand
I
what you're
just
saying.
don't think you should say that.
All Ewans. So yeah, it's kind of like more of a familiar family type way of saying, yeah. All right, here's the first one. Tell me if you've heard this one before. She done shouted her hair down. You heard that one before?
No.
She done shouted her hair down.
No, that's pretty fun though.
Yeah. So translated, Ted, you want to read that?
Yeah, the Spirit hit hard. Hairspray and Holy Ghost flew equally.
Okay. So now that you see the
She
translation,
done shouted her hair down.
you kind of get it, right? So if a pastor's like, oh man, she's getting into it. She just done shouted her hair down.
Right.
You're like, oh.
PG, has it ever been a thing where people run in circles around Harbor Light? Have you seen those videos yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
It's like the guy's preaching, and it's you. I think
Kenneth Hagin.
It's like usually like kind of holiness Pentecostal.
Okay.
Wave your jacket around the air.
Yeah.
And then the people just start running. Like it's good preaching, so they just start running in a circle.
I think it's fun to watch. Yeah.
It's fun to watch. I don't know what I would do in that room.
Yeah, we've only done that one time at Harbor Light, and it was kind of a
Jericho mark.
Yeah, it was
Something
something like that, yeah.
This is not that. This
Okay.
is
No.
somebody got fired up, and they just took down the aisle running, and they're just running.
It's like spiritual Tourette's. It's just kind of it's weird.
A different thing. It's a
They just
different
like
thing.
take off, and you're like, what was the thing? What happened here? And they're running around. And people are like waving their hand, like, oh, praise you. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah.
No. Okay.
Okay. Here's another one. He's been out in the woodshed with the Lord. Now, this is kind of kind of one that you might be familiar with.
Going to the woodshed.
Going to the woodshed. So you've got a little northern
This
part to
this makes sense. So God gave him a Holy Ghost whooping. He's better now. We all need to go to the woodshed once in a while with the Lord, right?
Yeah,
that's right. That's a
I
good
think
one.
I've heard it.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I think that might have kind of trickled up north.
Yeah.
Ted, I've heard Ted.
You
use it
got to
before.
work something out. You go to
Right.
the woodshed with the
That's
Lord.
right,
I
yeah.
like it. I like
So
it.
God's going to be working on your heart in that one.
Out in the
So
woodshed with the Lord. That's good.
yeah, so you put that in like in the context. Somebody's like maybe fasting or praying or had to deal with something. That's what they did. Yeah. Here's another one. We're praying through till the chickens came home. Have you heard that one before? This might be one you want to add to your
Right. Lisa
your
Kay
list.
could have that one.
Right.
Yeah.
The chickens never leave home though.
Well, I don't do they.
No.
I mean, that's the question I have. Do chickens
They
leave?
stick around.
Well, maybe in the Appalachian Mountains, they kind of wander through the hills,
yeah,
and
that's
then they
probably right. Yeah,
then
yeah.
they come home.
Yeah.
So
I
then
bet
now
you
that's the
it.
home part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That
they're
is
not like
true.
leaving really far.
And I would
They're just-
imagine our next door neighbors are probably from there. Because
Appalachian
their chickens are
Mountains,
on
yeah.
our property
That's right,
all the
yeah,
time
yeah.
here.
They wander through the
We
campers.
keep talking about that at family camp.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
who's going to be the rooster assassin?
Right. Yeah, right.
who's taking that thing out this year?
So what's the translation of that one?
All night intercession. Also, yes, there were literal chickens.
Yeah.
Till the chickens come home. We're praying till the chickens come home. All night praying with the Lord.
Yeah. So you're praying until something
We do that.
changes.
We got to bring that in 21 days, PG.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the prayer vigil.
We're praying through till the chickens come
praying
home.
till the chickens come home tonight.
All right, I like
folks.
that one. This one I like. This is kind of I kind of heard some of these words. We
Yeah.
tarried at the altar till someone birthed a breakthrough. I've kind of heard that.
Tarried means what again, boys?
Waiting.
Labored. Yeah.
Labored, yeah.
labored.
Okay, yeah.
So we a lot of times pastors say until the Lord tarries,
Yeah.
waiting until he comes, kind of thing. What's the translation on that
A
one?
long, loud prayer with someone sobbing like they're in labor.
Rich, I can see. I mean, I've seen people get really affected
Yeah.
by Holy Spirit rocking their
Sure.
world, and they kind of get a little noisy, whatever it may be, and that's
They're
okay.
tarrying.
God's working in it,
Okay.
So that's one they would say.
Yep.
This is one is
Ooh, yeah,
this
this
is
one's
good.
tough, yeah.
He's a shouter, but not a tither.
I'm going to jump in on this
Yeah.
one. So that it means to make noise but not impact. I was literally considering doing a sermon soon about the people who make the biggest noise are the people who give the least.
Come on.
Oh, come on. That is.
And that's kind of what this is saying right here is they make a lot to noise, but they're not doing anything.
You're making. I'm about ready to get up and start running around the room right now.
Yeah.
I'm about feeling it.
Get some aisles, some pews in those aisles.
People that complain the most give the least.
I need to do that sometime. When you got a good point and is hitting hard, I'm just gonna get up and just start running around the side and then come back to my seat and it's fine.
What?
It'll be good.
Yeah, that is a universal truth, I think, right there.
Yeah.
That's
Hallelujah, getting all excited and they don't ever
zero
Yeah.
impact.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here's the last one. This one, Ted, you kind of know.
Yeah.
We had us a Jericho march around the sanctuary. So we kind of know, some of us know, especially the old Pentecostals know.
Than the
Yeah.
running thing. Everyone walked in circles. No walls fell. Sister Ethel tripped on the offering plates. Jericho March.
Jericho March. When my dad was, in the AG, there would be Jericho marches every now and then. Whenever we'd sing the old, you probably don't even know the song anymore, the Lion of Judah. The Lion of Judah shall break every chain. That was the Jericho March. That's when, as soon as that song came on, everybody's like, get out of the pew, let's start walking around. We're walking around and you do it for the whole song.
Yeah.
And then when the song's done, everybody comes in, praise the Lord. It's
Yeah.
good. The Jericho March, yeah. That's a big thing. I mean, you've probably done it before, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We have.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
That's fun.
So here, these are things, maybe some of these we can incorporate,
Maybe.
some of our jargon,
Yeah.
but this is very much Appalachian.
my top ones
Yeah.
are for sure the going to the woodshed.
Yeah,
He's
that's
in the
definitely,
woodshed with the Lord. And then he's a shouter, but not a tither.
Yeah, those are good.
Those are good.
I like that one. I think that the she done shouted her hair down. That one might be hard for us to get because we don't usually, the women don't wear their hair like they do.
Yeah.
And some of the, like United Pentecostals and stuff like that.
Sure.
Because they put them in beehives and they're all like
what ones I
hairsprayed up.
love?
Yeah.
I love when it's like, there's like this, we always joke about it with the organist, right?
Oh, yeah.
Preacher.
Yeah.
And it's the preacher will always be like sitting there and it's, the band can kind of get him back.
Yeah.
So the preacher's like, I'm ready to preach, and all right, let's bring it down, land the plane here, musicians, and then the guitar players, bam, 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 it comes back, and he's like, all right, starts running again.
Starts going again. Yeah. I know. Those are fun experiences.
I've never been in a church like that.
Oh man, I don't know if there's that many left anymore. But my biggest experiences were in Fayehola Camp and down by Coldwater, and they used to AG, and we'd have camp meetings. They call them camp meetings. And so usually have a really on fire evangelist to come in. And he's gonna get everybody, whooping and hollering, whipped up, yeah. And it was, people would get into it, man. It was just like, and you had tambourines.
Right. And everyone's in like a 3-piece suit.
Everybody was in a 3-piece suit in the middle of summer when it's 90 degrees. And,
Suffering for the Lord.
Suffering for the Lord. And, back in the 70s, the polyester ties were like so big.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, you do one Windsor knot and it's like,
You're
like the
wearing a
size of,
bib.
it's like the side of your throat. Yeah, you're wearing a bib. Yeah. All right, gonna take an ID break and come back with Harbor Line Bible Trivia.
This is more podcast. We'll be right back.
I like that one to play it again.
I do. Can I interrupt you? Because
Yeah.
I did forget something very important.
Oh, what was this?
Oh, yeah.
What is this?
So before we get to Bible trivia,
Oh.
folks, more podcast. We're so excited. This guy right here is super.
I know you are. Yeah.
We're gonna be starting. We'll have to have some great like NFL themes.
We need to. Yeah, I need to come up with something. Yeah.
We're gonna do our fantasy football corner. Give an update on how teams are doing. The league has started.
Yes.
It's not officially full, so if you more podcast listener would
Yes.
like to be a part of Harbor Light Sunday Fun Day League, it is still available to join.
It
So
is.
email to get a hold of me, get a hold of any of these two gentlemen here, and we'll make sure it happens for you. We just thought it'd be fun to kind of give a highlight of some of our names this week.
Yeah, let's do it.
So some of the fun things that we've seen throughout our Sunday Fun Day podcast, fellas, do you want to talk about your names and maybe why you
let
the
Peachy go
inspiration?
last because
Yeah,
his is
good.
His is good.
His is good. Why did you pick the name that you picked, Pastor Alex?
Because that is my life. I am a bencher.
So your name is what?
The benchers.
The Benchers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm the benchers.
So you like found inspiration in the fact that maybe you weren't the starting.
I was never. Very rarely
Coming off
was
the
ever
bench.
first string.
Coming
Never.
off the
Yeah.
bench,
I was coming off the bench. So that was my thing. But I want to tell people that are going to get in the fantasy football arena with us is that Seth and Stephanie Montai have a printing company. They offer to print the
Yeah.
decals. If you want to print your team's decal,
Come on now.
to put on a shirt, which we can also help you press it on the shirt because we have pressers here.
Yep.
But you can put it on a shirt, then you can have your team decal on a shirt for fantasy football.
That's awesome.
$5, and they'll print off your
great.
decal. Yeah.
It's awesome.
So they're doing mine, the benchers. It looks, I want to say mine looks pretty good.
it is.
the
You
eagle.
made that thing on Canva.
I made it on Canva.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to figure that
Yeah.
out today.
You just type in, I want to look
really
at,
good.
make a logo, and then you tell the logo what you want. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yep, that's it.
We're currently looking at fantasy football trophies and or like championship belts.
Yeah.
That was
That would be
appealing.
super.
That would be
fun.
super awesome.
Yep, super fun.
So you get
You
to
could actually
keep the
wear
belt.
that without it seeming like you're showing off. If you carried a trophy around,
It's true.
Right. If you got the belt, you can walk into church on Sunday.
Show up on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So this is kind of funny. I saw so they not only have the winners of fantasy football, like you get things if you win, but the loser has to do something too.
Oh.
So one of the ones that I thought, some of them are like you can't leave a Waffle House diner until you finish 70 pancakes or something.
Oh, my
It's
gosh.
open 24 hours,
Yeah.
whatever, something like that. The one I thought that was very funny was Kamala Harris just came out with her new book. And you have to read it. Read it and give a book report on it. And Chat GTP has to score it, and you got to get a C+. Or if you don't, then you got to read the audiobook too.
No.
All right, so names, we've got the Benchers. I'm just going to do some highlights here.
What's your name?
My name is Clear Eyes, Full Hearts, Can't Lose. And the reason
Okay,
behind
that's a
this,
long
it's
name.
very nerdy.
Yeah.
Is remember the TV show Friday Night Lights? Did you guys ever watch that?
I never watched it, but I know of it.
So the
yeah.
coach always says to the team before they go on the field, "Boys, clear eyes, full hearts," and then the team would respond, "Can't lose."
Okay.
So that's mine.
So that's your because it's really inspirational for you.
Inspirational. Every
Yeah.
Sunday when I'm sitting on my couch,
Yeah.
eating nachos,
That's what you're gonna say.
yelling at my little players here. And then the one before we get to PG's, Brad Hall's is the Immaculate Reception.
Yeah, I love that one.
Awesome.
That one is good. That goes down in the Hall of Fame.
That is
Yeah.
a pretty fun one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
PG,
now
your name, the story.
Here we
behind
go.
it.
All right, so
Super fun.
so
This
I
is good.
had a name and I thought it was pretty good, and I told my grandson about it.
Yeah.
and he's like, That's not even good.
Wait, can we hear the other name though?
I'm trying to remember what it was, but it did have Jesus in there.
Yeah.
But it was like Jesus goat or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's
Okay.
like,
Not
Yeah,
bad.
no.
Not bad.
Jesus
not
is
bad,
him.
Jesus is him.
Jesus is him. That's
the
it.
name. That's the name of my
Jesus
team.
is him. Is
Yeah.
your team?
And then while we were sitting there, we were actually at dinner, and I just texted Jesus with a football, and I found this logo and threw it up there.
The thing that, again, I always
Yeah.
said this before the podcast was recording, that I just opened the app, right? I'm opening the app and I'm getting a chuckle at all the names. And then my senior pastor, my boss, my grand poobah,
Yeah. Jesus is him.
Jesus is him. And then the little icon is Jesus with a hovering football.
Yeah, right. He's not touching it. It's just floating.
Right.
I
It
think
was the best. It made my day.
it looks kind of like a Minecraft
Yeah, right.
character.
Yeah.
That would be a good. You should get that put on a shirt, man.
That's right. So hey, we're gonna again we'll be doing updates on who's the winners and losers throughout the season. It's gonna
Right.
be a lot of fun, guys.
Does it cost though?
It doesn't. This is
doesn't
all
cost.
for the glory of the game, right?
Yeah.
This is just for all the this is all for glory.
No
The
money.
love of the game,
Yeah,
guys.
no
Love of
money
the game.
involved.
We'll get a nice belt or something to
That belt would be
get
so
your
cool.
name
Could
etched
you
in
imagine
there.
that?
That'd be sweet.
Walking around in church on Sunday after you've won fantasy football.
Yeah. And so again, if you want to be a part, get a hold of us, email the podcast. We want to get you in, but we're gonna probably draft next week. So
Yeah.
it's gotta be in the next couple days here after this.
Yes, get on there.
Thursday.
Yeah, I think it was going to be good.
It'll be so fun. We currently have 5 teams available still. It's a 14-man league.
So we got 5.
And I would
5
think there's
teams.
probably 2 of those are taken. So you got to
So-
get on it.
Yeah. So it's going fast. Franchises are going fast, so we want to get one
It's
today.
going to be so fun.
It's kind of like Chick-fil-A time.
That's right.
All right, so let's get into Bible trip. We didn't do one last week.
Okay,
did
that's
not.
okay.
Because we didn't have you here. So we need a good question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was waiting for my music. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's playing.
There it is.
There, yeah, it's in the background
I'm
there.
so sorry. There,
It's a little bass heavy
yeah.
today.
Yeah.
It's just new for me. All right, so the Bible trivia for today, as we are in this series, the Red Sea Rescue,
Yeah.
and Pastor Alex nailed it for the past 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
And so here we are. Our question for today is baptism is connected to the crossing of the Red Sea.
Oh.
Where is that found in the Bible where baptism is connected to the Red Sea?
Oh, that's a good one.
So it's found. I'll give you a hint. It's in the New Testament. So
Yeah.
find somewhere in the New Testament where baptism is connected to crossing the Red Sea.
Very cool.
I think I know where it's at.
Yep. I think so too.
I think I've got it in my head right now.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good one.
That's good.
It's not what you think is the typical apostle that would use it.
Do you want me to just read you the verse and then they can still try to find it? I won't
Sure.
tell you what
Yeah,
the
yeah,
address
let's
is.
do that,
You
yeah.
got to give us what the address is. Okay. I'm gonna start in the first part of it. I don't want you to forget, dear brothers and sisters, about our ancestors in the wilderness long ago. All of them were guided by the cloud that moved ahead of them, and all of them walked through the sea on dry ground. In the cloud and in the sea, all of them were baptized as followers of Moses.
Oh, that's good.
So that's in the New Testament. Find me the address.
You got to
right?
find that. And some of our people are transcribing that even now as it comes
right.
across live, and
That's right.
they're already typing into Google. They're going to find it real quick.
That'd be awesome.
What was that? What was the other question that we had a lot of discussion about? Was how many times the Red Sea mentioned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys? I wasn't here.
We
for
had
the answer.
we had a lot of people like between 41 and 27.
The official.
It was very wide.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
official answer is at least 25.
Yeah.
at least 25. Okay. So most of them are
Yeah,
close.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of references to it, but at least 25 times.
Okay. So we got
So
that.
it's a cornerstone of the entire Judaism.
Right, yeah.
thing.
Well, you know who won the prize last week was Mandy Gerber.
No way, really?
She got some
Bacon Band-Aids.
bacon Band-Aids.
Fantastic. I still have Alan's gift certificate to Scallywags here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I should get that to you before we leave.
He was talking to me about it last Sunday, and I said PG's on vacation right now, so when he gets back, he'll settle up
gotta
with
do
you.
it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to think of what we can have. We got some prizes up there. I mean, we got bacon socks still, right? Yeah, we got bacon socks. We still have 2 speakers left over from the first season. Some things like that. We got the koozies, and then of course we have
Wilson insurance hat.
We have some big shirts, podcast shirts that are about the size of Omar tent. So you can use it for a nightgown if you're a woman, because they're like 3Xs and 5Xs in there. Seriously, I mean, just use it as a nightgown. My wife loves her chicken shirts.
Really?
Yeah. Cluck Norris shirt. She wore one down in the mission strip. People are like, "Where'd you get that at?"
Yeah.
She's like, "This is our church podcast." They're like, "Really?" I'm like,
spreading
"Yeah."
the word in
Yeah.
Kentucky.
And then was it you that said you found it in a thrift store?
Yeah.
Our shirt in the thrift store.
Yep.
So we've already got to that level.
Yep.
We're
It's a
iconic
circle of
now.
life.
Yeah, circle of life. It's out there. All right. So if you want to be a part of this week's Harbor Light Bible Trivia, all you have to do is send it to harborlightbibletrivia@gmail.com. harborlightbibletrivia@gmail.com. But also, we're going to add something different this year or this week. A lot of you are using the socials that we have out now.
Yeah.
So if you want to answer this
Oh, good idea.
on Facebook,
Yeah, that's fun.
or Instagram,
Probably a
that's it.
better way to answer it.
yeah.
More efficient, faster.
So put it in there, and we'll look for the answer on that. All right, we'll come back with with Bible talk, and we're gonna take an ID break.
Keep listening to the More podcast. Gary brings the wisdom, Alex the stories, and Ted, well, Ted brings the snacks. You don't want to miss a single minute.
Do you know what that song reminds me of? Is America's Funniest Home Videos.
It does.
It reminds me of that theme song.
Oh, okay.
It does. The lady's voice reminds me of the announcer that used to be on the old podcast, or not podcast, but Pokemon cartoons back in
Yeah.
the 80s.
Yeah.
It's the bad girl that was on
Okay.
there. That's what that sounds like.
Huh.
Every time I hear it, I'm like, it takes me back to like 83. That little
That's the year I was born.
Yeah. Well, shut up. So, hey, you want to know something funny? Is that on Amazon they're starting to put out old Hanna-Barbera cartoon series.
Oh, yeah?
When I was a kid in the 70s.
Okay.
And so I bought a couple of them, some of the series, and I'm like, I like them, but I'm like, these are like so boring.
Yeah.
Like it's the same plot line every cartoon. I don't know why I was so excited about it then, but you know what? I don't care.
The other thing,
I still
the
watch
other
them.
thing you notice when you watch a cartoon from way back is all the humor is really adult humor.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not really kid
It is not.
or geared towards kids.
Yeah.
It's all
I mean,
adult stuff.
watch Bugs Bunny and
Right.
Tweetbird.
It's 100%.
There's so much reference.
adult.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hello.
Yeah.
And you never noticed it before. Well, welcome to the deep end of the Red Sea Rescue. We're actually, this week, I helped us get a foot into the water. So we are almost.
Yeah.
I mean, the staff is raised, and we're getting ready to split. So now Pastor Gary is going
That's
to
right.
take us home on this one.
So this isn't just about ancient waters parting. It's about what happens when obedience meets uncertainty, when faith walks forward before a path is clear, and when God asks, what is in your hand? So wherever you're listening from, take a deep breath. The breakthrough might not be instant, but it is in motion, and today's conversation might be just what you need to hear.
Yeah.
Pastor Alex.
Yeah. Tons
Yeah.
and tons of positive
Yes.
feedback from the last 2 weeks. But go ahead.
Yeah, really good.
It was
Really good.
it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah. So one of the things that has been really interesting to think about is, have you confessed praying without postponing? And can you maybe, like, you talked about it on Sunday, can you just flesh that out a little bit more for us?
Yeah, I mean, so the confusing thing about praying as opposed to when it comes with postponing, a lot of times we keep praying about stuff, but the expectation is not that we do anything. We just keep crying out. And that's what I think was interesting about God kind of like looking at Moses going, stop crying out. It's time to do something. I think that's a lot of us find ourselves in that position. And I'm not saying it's always necessarily a bad thing, because you don't want to just rush into something. But when you know that God is calling you to do something, and you're just either frightened about the outcome or concerned about what are all the details I need to know before I go. And at some point you got to say, okay, God, I'll make the next step. And I talked about in the message about my wife and I, when we were called into ministry, the big step we took was putting our house that we only owned for a year on the market. And, we expected God to deal with it. And, everybody's telling us around us, you're nuts. The realtor's telling us we're crazy. My in-laws were like, this is the dumbest idea I've ever heard in my life. You just bought the house. You have no equity in it. And we're like, God called us into this. We're going to do it. And then he proved it, 2 months later in a 1999 market that was not good. People were not selling houses like they do today. It sold, for what we were asking. And then it's a little bit extra so that we could start our new life. So that for me was one of the things. But, my wife and I have often looked back on it and thought, what if we would have hesitated? Like, what if we would have said, we're not leaving until the house sells.
Yeah.
We're going to stay here. And then when the house sells, then we'll go. But that wasn't the order. That wasn't the part of obedience we needed to pay attention to. We had to say, okay, God, you're calling us to go now, not later, not after the house sells. And for us, that was a huge step of faith because we didn't know what to expect. And it wasn't like we were getting into something better, because I told people on Sunday too that, when we got to our new location, we lived in a room, bedroom. My newborn son Parker was living in a closet, and we did that for a couple months. It wasn't that long, but that's what we walked into. So it was like nothing like way better. Like we weren't moving into a mansion or anything, but it was all these things that God did to really solidify our faith in this, to help, follow through with that.
Well, and that's, I think, just the greatest, big takeaway for me is just that sense of adventure and growing of faith that the Lord, provides in those times that, you were ready to go. You were ready to rock and roll after that moment because the Lord did something miraculous.
I think that's the cool part. I know Pastor Gary has mentioned this before in some of his messages, but I think the coolest thing is when you get to my stage in life and Pastor Gary's stage in life, you can look back and, at the time it was like a Red Sea moment. Like, oh my gosh, are you nuts? Like, this is not a good idea. Now you look back and you're like, wow, God, it was so cool.
Yeah.
How he orchestrated this situation to come out. And, it never looks good when you're in the middle of it. I don't think the children of Israel are standing on the shoreline going, this is a good idea.
Yeah, we got this.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Let's just go for it and let's see what happens. You don't ever really have that attitude when you're going for it. But after the fact, you're like, okay, God did it. And it does help you later on in life. You're like, oh, I can do this again. It's not I've seen God do it before. I'm going to trust him in this thing. So it does get a little easier in that regard. But those risky moments are never easy because God never puts you in a situation where you're like, I could do this on my own. It's usually one of those situations where if you're not going to help me, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, some of the things is that we talked about is this idea of obedience being sort of like the center point for everything. So, we see Moses, reaching out his rod, stretching and doing all these things. And we kind of brought that out. But the overarching, I think, theme was obedience, 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 right? You never see Moses in anywhere in that story, like going through a question list, like, God, okay, so you sure this is what you want me to do? Or, he heard what he needed to hear and he went for it. And I think to me, that is probably the key that unlocks so much of our breakthrough and so much of our Red Sea experiences being success, because what happens is if we continue to delay in prayer or continue to delay in our progress forward, eventually what happens is we talk ourselves out of doing it.
Yes.
And at some point we're going to kind of look for plan B, plan C, plan D, and to the point where we just kind of disqualify ourselves from the opportunity. So we don't want to do that. So obedience is a big thing. And I think it covers so much in the Christian experience. Whenever we're trying to deal with something in our life and yet we're not willing to be fully obedient, because, that's one of the things that we sometimes do is like, I'll give God a little obedience just to test the waters. But when God asks us to do something, he's asking for full obedience into it, all in. And I think that is the difference. And I think, some of our victories that we have not seen yet is because it's just kind of like edited obedience or a little bit of obedience, or I'll give you this part and then you show me this and then I'll do the rest of it.
Yeah.
There's no negotiating in our response to when God begins to start moving with us. And I think that is, for me, when I was even sharing on Sunday, I'm like, I've got areas in my life that I have been playing around with personally, where I need to be obedient, in my life in a certain area or a certain thought process or whatever. And it is sometimes this edited obedience, like, God, okay, I'll follow through if you do this so I can see this. Maybe a lot of us really buy into the story of Gideon. We're like, oh, Gideon, he put the fleece out and he was asking God for a sign. And I think a lot of us live our faith like that because that's probably how we want it to work out. We were looking for those little bit of answers, but more times than not, that is not how it works.
Right.
It's either yes or no. It's either I'm going to go or I'm not going to go. It's not, there's nothing in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you look at the life of Moses, and it is that sense of that guy had every, in just thinking about this week, like he had so much against him, to think about hanging out in the wilderness. And then all of a sudden the Lord speaks to you in this burning bush and says, hey, guess what you're going to go do?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy step of obedience. And that's not something that, he probably was prepared for, you know what I mean? And so that sense of like, I know in my flesh, like I get that place of like, am I financially ready to do this? Am I emotionally, whatever? Like you just go down the list of, am I? It ain't about me, right? It ain't about Moses. It's about the Lord and what he wants to do. Moses didn't have a thing to do other than just to say yes to the Lord. And then the Lord does some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And that's, that's a huge takeaway for us. I think that it's a big deal.
I think that, when you look at the idea of obedience, anytime, I don't care where you look at, not just even Moses' story, obedience to God always requires you to lay aside comfort, security, and reputation.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a cost.
There's a cost. There's a big cost. And I think that sometimes is something that we see, and it's like, whoa, wait a minute. This is more than what I'm willing to do. I mean, I'll obey you, God, as long as there's still a contingency plan or a safety net involved or whatever it may be. But then that's not faith. That's just, I'm looking for you to provide me everything I need to know so that I'll do it. And it seems safe. And it's never that way. And I've never personally, I know all of us in this room have gone through these things in ministry. I've never had a situation where God has called me to do something, asked me to be obedient to something, where it's been just so super easy. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. I just love doing this. There's always something involved. There's always a cost involved.
Yes.
And you do it, and then after the fact, you're like, it was worth it, but I had to do this, because if you continue to weigh the cost, it's just like what Jesus was talking to the rich man when he said that he wanted to follow him and he wanted to learn what Jesus had. He wanted to be one of his disciples. And Jesus said, give up everything and follow me. And he was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I got a lot. This is too much. And I think that to me is a good example of sometimes when God gives us that command of obedience, and it doesn't mean it's money, but it could be anything, right?
Yeah.
It could be family, it could be relationships, it could be a job, it could be whatever it is, things you've owned. And that is a tough decision to make. That's a tough, costly thing to do. And I've heard pastors that make that decision, or Christians that make that decision, and it is a big deal to say, okay, you know what? Everything that I have established in my life to make my life comfortable and safe and feel like it's valued, to give it up for something that I don't know yet, but I know that he's calling me to do it. I would just encourage anybody, if God is laying that on your heart, whatever it is, the other side is so much better.
Yeah.
Right. On this side of this side of the Dead Sea, you're being chased, right? Mm-hmm. And you're in the middle of crisis and you got chaos going on. Mm-hmm. But once you get to the other side, it's open blue sky. I mean, you're going to get to a place where God is really leading you to a promised land moment, where you eventually get to a place where God is going to give you everything he promised. And if you can only see past those things that God's saying and that you're putting into the mix, you'll get to a place that's so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's really good.
Yeah. So I think, God is really concerned, I think, especially in the church today, that we don't avoid those moments.
Yeah.
Don't set them aside. Don't pretend like you didn't hear, and, find opportunities to give it to God.
Yeah. So you had that image of the staff, right? It's
Yeah.
this ordinary item. One of the questions that we have for today is, have you ever disqualified what's in your hand because it didn't seem impressive?
Yeah.
So we put that, that the tie for us, maybe gifts that we have, experiences, what are the giftednesses that I have that maybe I've overlooked?
Yeah. I think that, the staff is interesting for Moses because, like I said, it's not anything exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, for all it's worth, it's probably one of the staffs that he might have used to take care of the sheep. I mean, It wasn't like anything exciting. It was just a wood staff. wasn't glamorous. It wasn't, gold or anything. It's not like a staff from, Tolkien stories or anything.
Right. It's not a scepter.
It's not a scepter. Yeah,
That's right.
It's just a wood staff that he used to walk. And God told him, that's what I want you to use. And I think what's interesting is that looking at that staff alone, we kind of idolize it, because of what it did or how it was associated with the story. But God was looking at it as just look at the thing that's readily available that I'm going to use in your life, something simple.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the thing that I'm going to use to bring victory, and I'm going to help you move forward. I'm going to do the miracle through. And the thing is that I think there are a lot of people in the Christian world that have those staffs in their life that God's given to you that you don't use because you don't think it's glorious enough or it has that divine appeal. It's just one of those things. And I kind of gave a list of things that people don't ever think about. Like, there are opportunities that you can use on a regular basis in your community of faith that God needs you to use to help someone get out of their Red Sea moment. And it could be anything from, volunteering in the kids ministry or singing in the praise group or, just, picking up trash. There's so many things that we minimize or disqualify, and there are bigger ones too. But, the ministry that you can have and God can use can be seemingly to you so minute. Yeah. But to God, it's something that he's going to use to do an amazing miracle with.
Yeah. I don't know. You guys help me out if I'm wrong on this, but I've often thought the gift of teaching or preaching is a gift that really is to motivate the other gifts that are not platform gifts. And so one of the things that I've thought about often is, we're three guys in a room. I think they could probably give a sermon or teach a class or whatever. But I just hung out with a lady that I've known for quite a long time here this last weekend, and she would not be somebody who has the gift of preaching. She has the gift of organizing and motivating and boots on the ground and administration and mercy. And, I've gone on global trips with her, and I just see her love kids that are unlovable, and I've seen her raise money for wells in Africa, and I've seen her build churches in Guatemala, and I've seen some pretty amazing things, and it's not flashy, right? But the impact is there, right? The impact is there. And so, I think that it's sort of weird when you hear the people who are maybe good at preaching go, you know what, the gift of mercy is a good thing. You go, well, yeah, it's not as fun or flashy, but it actually is true that it is fun and flashy. Like it is that sense of when you see somebody grab a hold of their giftedness that, maybe it was on the fence or didn't know about it. And then all of a sudden the impact grows 4 times than what you think it is. That'll just do it for you.
Yeah. I think what you're saying, you can see reflected in other areas of scripture, the parts of the body, right?
Yeah.
The ones that are least flashy are the ones that are most essential.
Yeah.
And so I think you're right. I think those flashy ones should be drawing attention to the ones that are not.
Yeah.
And then also take a look at 1 Corinthians chapter 13, right? Though I can sing with the tongues of men and angels, but if I don't have love, right? Yeah. So here's these key components that don't get a lot of advertisement, and then there's all these flashy ones that do, and you can live without the flashy ones.
Yeah.
So I think you put your finger right on the point there.
I do too.
It's good.
I do too. It's really good.
Yeah, and I think it is so neat. But the other part that was interesting to me that just started coming out to me as I'm reading the story, because we've all read the story about Moses, across the Red Sea, was the separation that God put in that verse in verse 16 of chapter 14, where he says, "Take your staff," and then he says, "Take your staff in your hand, and then stretch your hand." Over the water. And I think that was interesting because that idea of stretching was something that just kept really, kind of germinating in my mind. Like, why the separate? Why is that the way it is? Because for me, when I see those kind of phrases in scripture, it's like, why the add-on? If he's already got his staff in his hand, that to me is the action involved. But then he adds one more thing, which is stretch. And so I started looking into this, started trying to dig into that idea, and the idea of stretching, like whenever you stretch, you always put yourself off base. Like you're always reaching beyond really what you have a stance for. Yeah. Like you're going to put yourself off balance if you do this. And again, to me, it was going back to this idea that when Moses did this, God was calling to a greater understanding of trust and faith, that he's putting himself out there even beyond what he was able to necessarily do in his own strength. And so it was like God was kind of pushing him even further than what he was able to accomplish on his own. So at any point in this, nothing he could have said, this was me.
I think I'm going to be speaking about this weekend, but we could kind of flesh it out a little bit right now. So God is using the thing that has been in his hand all along.
Yeah.
The staff over and over and over was used in the deliverance, right?
Yeah.
In the miracles and the plagues. Now pick up that thing that you've been using and let's do the next thing with it. The next logical thing is to stretch it out. And so then you've got God using the things in your life that he's been using all along, but he's going to ask you to do something with it that only he can make it happen.
Right.
Right. So what are those areas in your life that God is calling you to stretch with?
Yeah.
I've made it. I've mentioned this numerous times in the series. I'm using this series as a personal growth for my own self. I've got some things in my life that I feel like I'm up against the Red Sea in, and so I am trying to apply the things that we're teaching on Sundays into my own life. And that's the next big thing: is the very obstacle in front of you might be the thing that God uses to get you through it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I think we talked about was, I kind of gave a short list because you don't have that much time, but one of the things was, finances. I don't think people realize how much of a tool that is. But, when you limit your ability in that area by, immediately saying, I can only give this much because I got these bills and these things and this and this and this and this. And then God's like, but I need you to stretch. I need you to sacrificially give more to help a ministry, or to give on Sunday with all the ministries you serve. But you can't do it.
Yeah.
Right. You just can't feel it. To me, that's one area where I think a lot of us, including myself, can learn to stretch more and trust and let God, you feel like you're off base. Your foundation is a little loose because now you're reaching beyond your point of steady. And now you're saying, okay, God, you got to do some more. And God will do it. And I think that's the amazing part, is people realize that when you do that, God blesses it, and it does far more than you can ever imagine. One person was talking to Amy about this. They gave her some money for one of the projects she was working on. And they said, you know what, God's telling me to do this, but I've got a static budget. I don't have extra money to do this, but I really feel God's calling me to do it. And she did it and gave the money to Amy to give to whatever the project she was working on. And the testimony was not like God all of a sudden had her win the lotto. What God did was he still maintained her current situation.
Yeah.
She was able to pay her bills still. She didn't have any want for food. Nothing changed. But the stretch happened. She lived in faith and did this. So even though she gave more than what she could ever give, God still sustained what she needed to make it through.
Yeah, well,
And I think that's the powerful part of that testimony. It's like, sometimes maybe we think, well, God's going to do, he's going to give us, a mansion or a new, no. God, a lot of times, will just sustain you and help you keep going as you even are obedient in that situation, which we see in Israel, because once they get over the Red Sea, it's not like all of a sudden, the clouds parted, angels came down, and then everything changed. No, they still had a long walk, but they still didn't have to worry about their shoes, their food, the water. God still sustained them and took care of them through the whole thing.
Yep.
And so that's what we want. Even Jesus promised, he says, if I take care of the birds of the air, I can take care of you.
Yep.
And it's not like God said, I can take care of the birds of the air, but I'm going to make you so awesome. You're going to be the best, like Trump, you're going to be the best bird ever. That doesn't always, he just takes care of us. So yeah. Some of the things that was interesting about this is talking about what are we waiting for to cross that water? What's that step? What is that issue with the next step? And to me, that was something that was, I was talking to people, but I was also looking at myself, like, what's the steps? Why am I not putting my foot into the water? What is the thing that's keeping me back? And for me, a lot of times I'm just honest. I'm the unknown. I live as a pessimist a lot of times. I'm very pragmatic in my thoughts.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I do that. And I use the term, I disqualify myself from that, because God is not telling me that he's saying, you can't do this, or, if you don't do it, I'm going to just cut you off. No, we disqualify ourselves in the sense that we just don't do it ourselves. We don't put our foot in the water. And God's like, it's always there. The possibility and potential for you to do what you need to do is always there, but it's you, not me, because I'm going to move once you make that obedient move forward. But you're the one that disqualified yourself. You're the one that's not willing to put yourself in there. And I think that was something that was a revelation for me. You know, you talk about getting downloads on Sunday. I was like, man, that is so true.
Yeah.
Like God's never once said, I'm not doing the miracle now because you didn't do it the right way. God's still waiting for you to do it. But you disqualify yourself from moving forward. So when a lot of us are praying for victory and praying for God to make a breakthrough happen, 9 times out of 10 or 10 out of 10 times is you. You're just not wanting to put your foot forward where God's calling you. Yeah. And so God's always ready to go, but you're just still standing there.
Yeah. When Jesus says he casts out fear.
Yeah.
Right. There's something that I think is very practical. Like you think about, Moses leading the Israelites out of slavery, gets them to that sea, and they've literally seen God do miracle after miracle to get them out of there.
Yeah.
And then now you got to take that step.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that today. Like we have a friend who's it's just one more step, man. One more step, and look what the Lord's going to do. And I think it's easy when you're not standing at the cliff to go, come on, just jump.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That is easy, but there is that sense of, again, adventure, I think, with the Lord of like, God has not called you to live a Christian boring life. That's just not what the call is. The call is to live in radical obedience to him, and he's going to take it and do so only he can do with it. And I think when we face those times, like my encouragement to the listener, to the person who heard the sermon on Sunday is, when you experience the unknown and when you experience fear, it's simply just saying, Jesus, would you cast it out?
Yeah.
It's simply just coming to him and go, Lord, I believe that you can get rid of this fear. And, and you start telling yourself testimonies of how God's done it in the past, right? You start testifying to yourself how God's been faithful to you in the past and shown up and moved in your life. And I think there's something to that.
I think, you're so right on the money. I want to honor the process because I think people might hear us say this and they're like, oh, that's all. You guys make it sound easy.
Yeah.
Listen, I don't care what that moment is for you to cross the Red Sea. It is not easy.
Right.
It is a scary thing. And all of us have had those experiences sitting around here where the next step, we're like, I don't know, know, and it is completely a situation where you're like, Jesus take the wheel, but it's a lot more than that. There's so many things involved with it. Like when Pastor Gary came to ministry, when you came to ministry, when I came to ministry, there were so many parts and pieces that were involved with that. When you're making that step, you're not just involving yourself, you're involving everybody. And I'm sure when Moses is sitting up there getting ready to cross the Red Sea, and he's the first one on the scene, and he's like there with the staff, I would be like, you've got to do this because everybody's looking at me like we're going to be moving forward and they're expecting me to believe this is going to happen. That is a lot of pressure. But I believe that if you can get, like you said, cast out the fear, get beyond that, God is going to do something amazing. And it is a really cool thing when that starts moving and you start seeing the pieces come together. And it's like, okay, cool. This is what God was doing. Yeah. So that was last Sunday. So Pastor Gary is back at the helm, ready to go. We've got 3 more?
Yep.
3 more. And, it was so funny on Sunday. I said, guess what? We're putting our feet in the water. People were shouting.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, finally. And I'm like, we're getting there. I said, we're going to put a foot in the water. Now Pastor Gary will come back and he'll get us over, to the other side. So you got a lot of people that are ready to go to cross the water. It's almost like the anticipation in the story is becoming real life in the congregation. They're all like, let's do this already, Right. So what are you talking about next Sunday?
I started into that process of God using the very tool or element that you're facing as a part of your deliverance.
Yeah.
So the Red Sea was the obstacle, but it was also the deliverance.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
It washed away the Egyptians.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's where we're going to be going over the next couple weeks.
It's going to be good.
Yep.
But we'll be in the water this time.
I'm believing so. Yeah,
we're getting close. We're almost there. Well, that's it for us on the podcast. Thanks again for listening. Again, tell your friends about our podcast, and it's been really cool because you guys have. I mean, we have so many followers now, and over the last 3 seasons. So keep doing it.
Yep.
And we'll come back and we'll have some more interesting stories.
Absolutely.
Check out that bonus stuff on our podcast.
Yeah, if you're not following us on Facebook or Instagram too, you need to do that. Let's grow that community there a little bit. We can start using that thing more and
use it to give us the answer.
That's
You
right.
can do that too. You don't have to email me.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot easier because a lot of you get our posts and you're like, I should probably do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you're seeing those clips online too, like them.
Yeah, like them.
That's a
share
good
'em.
thing. Gets it in the algorithm.
Some of them have gotten pretty, quite a few views. I was really impressed. Some of them have gotten pretty big.
Sure.
Well, I would say for us, they've gone viral.
Yeah, right.
In our world.
It's great.
Yeah,
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. Yeah.
We'll take it.
But we'll talk to you guys next week. Talk to you later.
We want you to know, find, discover, change with us. More podcast ending transmission. Now.